Hello and welcome to Muskegon in Motion, where we talk about some of the important and interesting things happening in and around Muskegon County. I'm your host, Sean Mullally, and I'm joined today by Peg West, Community News Director for the MLive Hub in Muskegon. And I want to thank you for taking the time to talk to us today and talk to us a little bit about your organization, what MLive and the Chronicle are doing now and going forward in Muskegon. And why don't you take a moment to tell us about yourself and your background and your role here to start with.
First of all, thank you for the opportunity to talk about MLive in Muskegon. We appreciate that. My background is I was raised in Rockford, which I'm hoping the Big Reds fans don't hold against me, and went to Michigan State. I was at the Grand Rapids Press for 19 years in a variety of roles, most of it covering the criminal justice system or supervising those who covered the criminal justice system. With some other, but I covered other variety of beats, and was also an assistant sports editor for a couple of years before I was named to this role in November.
Now, the Muskegon Chronicle has been a long-standing institution in this community. And this has been very much a year of rebirth for you. The newspaper industry in general has been going through a lot of changes, and we've seen some communities have unfortunately lost their hometown paper, and in Muskegon we haven't. But you are evolving, and I want to give you a chance to tell us a little bit about what MLive is. Some people in the community are less familiar with that than the name Chronicle. And tell us what you see going forward as your role in the changing media landscape that we're seeing.
Sure, thank you. The MLive is obviously a digital first oriented company that also has that works on multiple platforms, whether it be your desktop, whether it be print, whether it be mobile, what have you. What we felt like we needed to do is we needed to respond to what the changing landscape was, and we needed to bring our news to where people are receiving it, as opposed to producing something and saying, you go find it. Right. There's just no going back, especially with the handheld devices. There's just no going back. That's how people are consuming their news in a growing number of ways. But so even though we're acknowledging the technology changes, the root of what we are is still journalism. And that's an important thing for people in Muskegon to understand, is that we have a commitment to local journalism that has not changed. And we feel like we have the staff that's still going to cover this town, tell its story, illuminate what needs to be illuminated, and do the news part of it as we always have. Another part of it that's very important to us is a community engagement part of it. We really feel like that we lead the conversation in this town, and we want to kind of take down that wall that's kind of been there before between a newspaper and this town, and that's why we're on the ground floor of downtown building, so that we can talk to people, hear what they have to say, lead the conversation in ways that we can lead it, and make it very interactive with the community members.
Well, that commitment to the community is very clear in the changes you've made recently. You've kept feet on the ground in the community, and that's very important. The investment you've made in these new facilities is really a strong commitment. I know when I heard that the Chronicle was going to be leaving their former facility, I'm a very strong proponent of downtown presence, and it would have been very easy to locate out in the fringes somewhere, and you just moved right across the street, kept that commitment downtown, and stayed central, and that's very important, I think.
Good. Yep, definitely. It was. We felt like that's the kind of presence that we want to have, and we love just being right on the traffic circle. We feel like we're right in the heart of things here.
Now tell us a little bit more about the location here. It's called a hub, which is different than offices. I imagine that word choice was somewhat intentional. Sure. And it seems to have a very open feel, like you've been hinting at a little bit.
Definitely. And it's called a hub because we want this new company is very dynamic, and we want a very dynamic presence. And the workspace that we have here is very open. Nobody has an office. Nobody has a desk assigned to them. We have a backpack where we carry our equipment and assorted things that you need.
Uh-huh.
And each day we come in and we find a place to sit and plug in and do our work. Or for the reporters, they're out and about and coming in and out a lot more. So the whole idea of this hub and in this area is to have that very open, collaborative, creative environment, so that we're not sitting in cubicles and we're not feeling constrained by an office setting. We want it to be someplace where we're open to trying some things, because that's the heart of this company too. Is let's try some things, let's innovate, let's see what works and what doesn't in this rapidly changing media landscape. And people who come in here really get that vibe, I think, and that makes us feel good, because that's what we want people to feel like, that this is a dynamic workplace.
Now, the role of technology is really changing what journalism is and what the media can do. And in the past, whether it was print or broadcast, it was very much a one-way channel. And now people are experiencing things much more in an interactive format. And I know you're embracing that a lot when it comes to, you have a very strong presence on the social media, and the MLive.com site has a lot of interactivity to it. Can you talk a little bit about how that plays into what you're doing?
Certainly, that again, a key part of this new company was that we wanted to have that engagement with the community. And the social media aspect of it is we really want to see what we ask a lot of questions when we put our links out to see what people are thinking. And in our comment section, we really encourage all of our staff members to get into the comment section and have a conversation with the readers. If the readers have a question, who better than a beat reporter to answer that? We have some beat reporters who've been doing this for a long time, who know this town and know the ins and outs and can answer questions. We can also just lead the conversation. If we can see a certain thread developing in the comments, we can get in there and say, well, let's talk about this, or what do you think of that? And we find that very often we can have pieces that are generated off from those comments in different ways, and that's been very gratifying.
Yeah, so it's not even just as much a way for people to leave comments about the news. It's sometimes a way for you to find out about the news.
Find out about the news. Find out what people are thinking. Find out if there is a mindset out there that we don't know about. We want people to tell us as much as we're telling them. We feel like we need to that the way that things are now, that people expect to interact.
Yeah.
It's not a situation where we had all the information and we decided when we were going to impart it, in what way. People and you waited for what we had to say. Readers expect to interact with us now, and that's why we want to make that conducive to them.
Now, one of the most important roles that historically the Chronicle has always played in this community is helping voters understand the various races that happen in our community, political races from year to year. And we are always exposed to no shortage of paid advertising, but having that unbiased reporting and coverage is really an element people need. And without having any broadcast TV stations in our community, the Chronicle has always been the one nexus people have looked to for that. And can you tell me how you're going to be carrying that on going forward?
Sure. Well, first of all, I think we saw in the primaries, we had a couple of debates in conjunction with Muskegon Community College.
Yes.
And that we were really thrilled with how those went. And there seemed to be a good community response to those as well. As we go forward, we are certainly looking at other debate options for us. We think that that's a good thing for us to do. But we also are talking a lot about how we're going to present the issues. We intend to have an online voters guide that has information on every race, so that people can utilize that. We're going to have obviously the more traditional preview stories, or here's where this person stands on things, here's what's at stake in this race. And we're going to look at doing some other things, special Q&As and that sort of thing, so that we can really try to dig deep and drill down into what the issues are and what people want to hear about. Again, then we go back to the interaction.
Yeah.
readers can tell us what they want to hear about too. That's something that we want to be responsive to what people are concerned about and what they want to hear about. We can certainly be responsive to that too. So we definitely take the election and the voting process very seriously and know that we have a very important role in that. And we're looking forward to it.
Well, and I think more collaborations like our channel did with the primary debates. I think that can be very helpful.
I think so too, definitely.
Now, on the topic of community engagement, one of the ways you've branded that recently is the "Do you give a damn about Muskegon" suggestion, and you've had some community meetings on that topic, and maybe you can tell me a little about how that's gone.
That has been one of those things where we tried something and it has taken off, and it has been almost entirely driven by readers, and we've just been kind of leading the way. It started with a question of the day where our community engagement specialist, Paula Holmes-Greeley, who looks at all the letters and looks at the comments, was just seeing a particularly negative bent in so much, and she just it just struck her so much that one day she just said, what can we do to get Muskegon pulling together? And we started to get these responses that were so thoughtful and so caring, and we realized that we had struck a chord with a certain group of readers that maybe we hadn't heard from before, and we decided to go with it. And along the way, we had done an editorial that said, does anybody give a damn? Here's what's going on. Here's what's going on there. Pointing out some things. A reader had pointed out some things that had concerned them. Does anybody give a damn? And that's what she asked that question. And again, people really responded to it. And we've held, as you mentioned, we've held public meetings, and we had a really nice turnout at our last one, and had a lot of good interaction and a lot of passion, for sure. And I think that's what we want to do as we go forward. We're hoping to have more public meetings. We're hoping to be more in a more action-oriented part of it now, and we want to lead the way. We still want it to be very community-driven. We're not the ones pronouncing this on anybody. But we'll happily help steer it.
That's good. Now, one of the things that I've found really interesting lately has been I got one of these tablets, and they're great little gizmos, and I've signed up for the e-replica of the Muskegon Chronicle, and that's been a great experience. Used to getting the paper delivered, and it's big and it's bulky, and they have this little thing you can zoom right in. Sure. Is that something you see being more and more of a role going forward? The e-replica or the tablet app, or I think all of the
all of it. Yeah, I think so. I think again that goes to how we want to present the platform that makes the most sense to people. Some people have found we've had very good response to our e-replica, and some people have found that they enjoy using that more than they do the actual paper. Some people are just finding that they love their apps. They love it on the phone, wherever they are. They're just looking it up. And our iPad app is just it's a great app as well, and it's very dynamic and very interactive. It's a good one, and people are enjoying that too. So I think that goes to the whole concept of understanding that there are so many ways to consume news that we need to make sure that we're providing what makes sense for readers, and the handheld devices are a huge wave to the future.
Great. Well, I think maybe we could take a closer look at that. I think you said Paula might be available to show us some hands-on demo with some of that.
Definitely, I think she teaches many classes and is open to teaching more. But she has been to libraries and senior centers and other places to really teach that.
Okay. Well, thanks for taking the time to talk with us. I appreciate it. And
appreciate it. Thank you for the opportunity.
Nice speaking with you.
Thank you.
I'm here with Paula Holmes-Greeley, Community Engagement Specialist for MLive, who's going to talk to us a little bit about some of the new technology that's being used in the reporting. Well, Paula, one of the things that excited me most, I got an iPad tablet recently, and I discovered that it is very easy and enjoyable to read the Muskegon Chronicle on there. Can you tell us a little bit about the eReplica edition and how that works for people?
Sure. eReplica is just one way that you can read that day's Chronicle digitally. We have apps that you can download for all of the all of the readers. So there's one for iPad, Nook, Kindle Fire. It's a wonderful way to carry the paper with you so that you can read it at your convenience. We are printing the Chronicle 7 days a week, and this is a way for you to be able to see it in your home anytime you want to. It has some wonderful attributes to it as well. I often recommend that people start by looking at their Chronicle eReplica this way, because you can highlight a story. Perhaps you want to read this story, and then over here you can enlarge the type to a size that's easy for you to read. And we've had anecdotal stories about people who have macular degeneration finding this, a very helpful tool. Also, you can download it as an audio file. So you could have it read to you if you would like to have it read to you, or you can download it into your iPod or your MP3 player and take it with you on a walk or on your morning jog. We have a lot of people who have told us they like this quality. And in addition, we have a translator, so you can translate it into one of 11 languages. This is translating right now into Spanish. We use the Google Translator for this, but I know that they're continually working on improving this product, and that includes the translator app as well. But we think it's a very exciting tool that can be used. It's taken a little while here to translate.
That audio feature, I assume that's somehow automated. You don't have somebody read it into a recording every day.
I am not sure how that part works, but yeah, it's wonderful. And we think it's a great tool in the classroom. It's definitely an advantage for people, busy people who want to get their news in any way that they can. The wonderful thing about the eReplica is you can read it on your iPad, you can read it on your iPhone, or on your desktop, and you can do it all in the same day. Each subscription allows you to look at it on 3 different devices in 24 hours, and then the next day you can look at it on 3 different devices. So however you want to read it, it's available.
Well, I know that ability to zoom in and scroll around, particularly on some of the mobile devices, is really handy. It's very dynamic, and if you're dealing with, especially on a mobile device, a smaller screen, you can zoom it right in and get it as big as you need to get it to read with whatever level of vision you have.
There's a very cool feature too for people who say they want to read their paper the way that they always have, turning the pages. You can do that with your eReplica as well. And of course this is kind of a small size, so it can be enlarged to any size that would be helpful for the reader. The other things that are wonderful about this is you can select a story and email it. You can select it and download it. If you're keeping an electronic scrapbook of your children's sports activities or academic activities, it's easy to do. There's also a feature that allows you to be notified if a person that you're interested in following appears in that day's paper. The other wonderful thing is the eReplica provides a 2-week archive. So you can go back. Yeah, you can go back 2 weeks and search for an article. And it's very searchable. It's very easy to use. And we have had a lot of people come in, and we welcome anyone to come in. If you have questions about the eReplica, we're glad to help you get started. It's just a really wonderful tool. And of course, for breaking news, that's when you want to download our app for MLive. And basically, you just go to MLive Muskegon. You pick Muskegon, and you can get all of your up-to-date.
And that's right up to the moment. Any new stories are appearing on there as they happen.
The thing about the eReplica is it provides some organization that people like. The website, stories are popping up on a regular basis, and sometimes people find that distracting. But if you want to know what's happening that minute, it'll
Well,
be on the website.
They each got their advantages. I'll tell you one,
Right.
one distinct advantage to the e-replica in certain circumstances is when you have it on a mobile device, it downloads to that mobile device and is stored. So you find yourself somewhere where there's no internet signal or anything, it's right there in memory. You can leisurely read it without having to worry about an internet connection.
And you can store several copies, you know, several days at a time. So it's a wonderful, that is a wonderful tool. Another thing I wanted to mention is that last December we had a training session with librarians from 24 or 25 area libraries in 4 different counties. And anyone can go to the library and read the e-replica there.
Oh,
the
that's
libraries
nice.
provide it. We worked out some downloading issues with them, and so anyone who's using a computer in an area library will be able to read the e-replica. So we're really excited about that opportunity for people.
Now with the website, with the MLive website, you also have the opportunity for a lot more interactivity.
Absolutely. Underneath each story, when you open a story, yeah, I'm afraid to open that one. When you open the story, here's one on wind turbine shipment activity, that large salty that came in. It's going to be one of 7. Readers can read the story, and then at the bottom they can comment. They can share ideas. It's part of a community conversation that MLive is trying to encourage to talk about issues that are important to our community. Now, some people are concerned about the quality of the comments, and that is something else that MLive is working on. People
Moderate them to a degree.
Right, we're moderating. People like myself are all over the state. We also use a program that looks for certain phrases, so that, I mean, no one can work 24/7.
Yeah.
So, so we also have a service that is monitoring all the time, so that we can, we
quality
want
control.
Right, it's quality control, and we want people to feel comfortable coming to MLive and talking about issues. So anything that is a personal attack or off topic or uses offensive language, those comments are removed. You also will see on MLive occasionally reporters will curate the comments and turn it into another story. And that's something that helps continue the conversation, but it also gives us a chance to share some really good points that people have made. One experience that I had with a question of the day, I had been reading comments and people had really been blasting Muskegon. And so I made my question of the day, you know, what would it take to get Muskegon pulling together?
Yeah.
And people really responded to that. We had a wonderful community conversation that is continuing in multiple posts. But that first day, we had 25 comments, really thoughtful comments. And we know that this is going to help our community sort out issues. We're really excited about this possibility.
Yeah.
So,
Well, it's somewhat like what I was talking about earlier with PEG. The new technology really gives you that opportunity for interaction and facilitates it.
you know, in the old days, I guess you could say that readers might have called reporters to talk about their stories and have this same kind of conversation. But this way, the whole community gets to share that information. And that's one thing I should mention. Reporters are working really hard to answer questions that are posed in the comments. They provide additional information. Sometimes the questions result in a second posting. It really is a fluid, exciting way to discuss issues.
Well, it sounds like it leads the conversation in new directions as much as it does anything else.
And the thing is, it's not just generated by us. Of course, we want to help lead conversations, but we also want the community in there participating in it. And often, and that's what you see when you see these curated comments or elevated comments, we sometimes call it, is that here's some really interesting things that your neighbors had to say. And that usually generates even additional conversation. So it's quite exciting. Quite exciting, and it's a wonderful tool. And I just encourage people to take a look. If you looked at MLive several years ago and you haven't been back, it's new, it's exciting, it's up to date. You need to need to participate.
Yeah, it's just recently been revamped. I've noticed it has a whole new look and feel when I've come back to it.
We became a new company in February, and I think Peg probably already talked about that. But at that time, the website was redesigned, and these new community commenting rules were instituted, and many other things. You'll see lots of photo galleries of Muskegon area. You'll see video. You'll hear audio.
Yeah.
It's an exciting way to get your news.
And I've noticed at the same time, just around the same time, I saw a lot more involvement with Facebook, Twitter, the social networking sites. The reporters and the MLive have posted things there, taken feedback from the social networking, and that seems to be a strong push.
Chronicle has a Facebook page that we probably has something new on it every hour. Sometimes it's breaking news, sometimes it's leading a discussion. We also are tweeting pretty regularly if anyone wants to follow us on Twitter.
Yeah.
Yesterday we had a visit from the police dog Rex, and we tweeted that right away to let people know. We had a special guest in the hub, and we've done that quite a bit, or we'll see events around our hub, and you'll see us put it on Facebook and Twitter right away so that people could come down and participate if they want. Yeah, the social networking, we want to be, the MLive wants to be where people are.
Yeah.
And you'll see reporters on Facebook and Twitter, you'll see MLive on Facebook and Twitter. We just want to keep the conversation rolling and get the news out there.
You're finding story leads through those channels as well?
Yes, we are. It's a two-way conversation for sure. Yeah.
Great. Well, thank you for your time showing us.
I'm glad to do it.
This is really exciting, and I look forward to seeing the next developments, because it certainly doesn't seem like you're standing still by any means.
No, and we've already made many changes. We've been a company about 7 months, and we're already revising. We've improved our commenting system already once, and there are more. One thing that people wanted is they wanted to be able to like things. They wanted to be able to do some other things with their comments, and in the future there's even more changes planned. So yeah, we won't be standing still. We'll be taking advantage of technology. I did want to take an opportunity to just let people know that the hub is very welcoming. We'd love to have people come down if they have some questions. We'd be glad to answer them. I actually went to one person's home. I just couldn't figure it out over the phone, so she invited me over. And I don't know how often we can do that, but I mean, we're really trying very hard to help people use this the new e-replica and also the website. So.
Great.
Thanks.
Well, Paula Holmes-Greeley at the MLive, and thank you for your time. This has been Muskegon in Motion, and I'm Sean Mullally.